Hello. I rarely do car videos these days, but I was compelled to stop in the middle of my day and share a short message because I think it's so important. I was thinking about any tough situations that I've been through in my life, and I was thinking about situations that I thought would be different, but they turned out to be one way. I thought would be one way, and it turned out to be another way, and all this kind of stuff. And one of the biggest things that I've always been able to fall back on has been gratitude. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that as a solution to a problem, but it's always been an overwhelming solution for me. Even if it was a relationship that didn't go the way that I wanted it to go, if I walked away feeling gratitude for the time that I had with the person, for the time that I had in the relationship, or gratitude for something that I learned in a relationship, it always made me feel better about the moving on from it, right? I've recently in life had I'll say this, a very, very important person to me graduate out of this 3D existence. And the gratitude that I feel for this person's presence in my life, the gratitude that I feel for who they are as a person, who they are, however you want to look at it, as a person, is like it overshadowed any ability for me to be in sadness, any ability for me to be deeply wounded. And I have moments of very deep sadness, but it always comes back to, wow, I'm so grateful that this person belonged to me for the time that they did, right? And it could even be in the workplace. I've been released from a position before to where everything was going perfectly, everything going right. I love the people, they love me, or something like that, especially with teaching or something. And then they just like, oh, we went another direction and we don't need this anymore. We don't need, these type of courses anymore, something like that. And if I walk away feeling profound gratitude for the experience and not just feeling like I lost something, it's always like expanded my life and put me on another level. I've always been brought to something new, or a new space, or a new environment, or a new experience, or a new opportunity. And I feel like it's always based on gratitude. I had a friend today who was like, sent me a message saying, I love to witness your abundance. And I was like, oh, great. I appreciate that. I was like, but sometimes you don't even realize that she's thinking that this abundance is just like this all the time, but it's not always that way. I was like, but I just refuse to be ungrateful. So if you can remember that with anything you got going on in your life, anything you feel like it was a loss, or it's not going your way, or someone is treating you a certain way, or you're not getting the results you want to get, or it feels like nothing is changing when you're ready for something to change, how can you be grateful? And I'm not even talking about basic gratitude. Oh, I opened my eyes today, blah, blah, blah. But like, find a way to find deep, profound gratitude for what is going right. I think about that all the time. Like this avatar, this body that we're in, when it's working right and everything's going right and there's no pains or aches in it or whatever, or if it's working well enough and there's only pains and aches in one area or whatever, like what can you be profoundly grateful for? And what situation can you alchemize? Can you transmute negative energy into something that's positive? A lot of people talk about negative situations that happen in their lives, right? But where can you look at those situations and think, I'm going to make this into something else? The first book that I wrote, well, not the first one was actually the first two. The first one that I actually did write was about financial aid and how to survive it. It was because I had gone through such fumbles with how I handled financial aid when I was beginning, because I didn't have any path to kind of follow, because I didn't come from an environment or a family that people went to college and they knew how to do financial aid. Like I made so many fumbles, and by the time I was working on my PhD, I didn't even pay for that. Like I taught classes in lieu of tuition, and they paid me a monthly stipend. So it's like I learned so much. So I wrote that book. But what I'm talking about is the second one, when I was like, I went through this terrible, terrible divorce. I had to fight for custody for my kids. I had financial losses left and right. I was unemployed for a time. I had to live with family members for a minute. I had to be talked about. And, you know, that was the smallest part. But that's also a painful part, too, when you know that people are looking at you like you've fallen from grace to some extent. And then you also looking at yourself that way. And so that was a really tough time in my life, but I wrote a beautiful book from it, like a beautiful book. Like that is the epitome of alchemizing a negative situation. And till this day, that book is my best-selling book. That is my best-selling book. And it's not necessarily a memoir, right? I did write fiction a lot. Some of it's true, some of it's not. But it was based on those things, because I was like, I could either walk around and be humdrum about this and bring negative energy to everybody and tell everybody, this is my story and this is what didn't work out. This is what somebody tried to do to me. Or I can just bleed onto this paper and write something and create some characters and create some form of entertainment and sharing of wisdom so that people can possibly learn something and be entertained at the same time. So we have to learn how to transmute negative things and to alchemize situations and to create what we choose. And the biggest transmuter of energy that I have found in my life has been gratitude. No one can play you. No one can treat you poorly. No one can give you the short end of the stick if you are always a person who is like gratitude first. Even when people are not, being accountable for things in your life or either acknowledging things, right? I have a person that's around that's kind of like that, has been in my life for a very long time, is not super accountable, what doesn't acknowledge things specifically. And you know what? I was very kind. I sent her a message saying I share nothing but love and gratitude and appreciation. And that took a lot for me to do that. But I was like, I have to transmute this energy into something positive. I have to find a way to make this relationship more positive so that it's not holding me up, right? So if you're looking for a fix to finances, you're looking for a fix to, a negative relationship you've had, being rejected, having a job or something that you don't want, throw gratitude in the mix and watch how quickly things shift. And I don't mean like fake gratitude. I mean like at the end of the day, filling out those journals and going, what can I be grateful for? Like, what can I find gratitude for in this situation? There has to be something. There has to be something. There always is something. There has to be something. And then you'll see that, it was there all along, right? Somebody asked why I don't mention God every 5 seconds when I talk. Well, really, they kind of asked, but they didn't really ask. And it's kind of one of those things to where I believe that the Creator has already put everything inside of us that we need in our lives. And our job is not to go begging back for things that we already have inside of us. So like when I do prayers, they're never to beg for something like, oh, please bring me this, please bring me peace, because the peace is inside of me. So what I do instead is say, I'm grateful for the peace that resides in me. And I'm grateful for feeling it every single day. I'm grateful for the financial abundance, for the abundance that lives within me. And I'm grateful that it comes out of me and it flows through me every single day. So just keep that in mind. If you're always paying attention to gratitude and you're always thinking about how can I transmute this energy into something positive? How can I create a situation to where it didn't necessarily look the way I wanted it to look, but I can still make it positive. I can still make it something that's valuable to me. Make some music with it. Make some poetry with it. Teach a class on it. Make a YouTube video on it. But the last thing you want to do is sit there and sulk about something that's not working out for you, because then you're just going to get more of it. Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.